What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Yesterday, we did get that Nintendo Direct. It just wasn't the one that everyone was hoping to see. It was a Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase. I miss the days of just Nintendo Directs, right? That was so much easier to go over. But yes, we had a partner showcase. They just dropped it on us yesterday, and the internet reacted basically how I figured they would. It's not looking too great over on that video's like to dislike ratio. But we're gonna go over the backlash, what was at this presentation, and I guess Nintendo's plans going forward here. Also, we did get Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, another great name to go along with that Nintendo Direct partner showcase there. But they did unveil the campaign, and it looks like Activision will be testing that $70 price tag going into next generation. Oh, and Sony is now talking PlayStation 5 pre-orders. Kind of. As always, guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps that a ton. And if brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below. We're attempting to hit 500,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And we're going to start today with Fall Guys, which has been an overwhelming success, I would say. I mean, I can't imagine when they launched it, they were expecting this much success and popularity so fast. But let's actually go over some of the numbers here, because we did get some. This is on Twitter here. Devolver Digital tweeted out, "Congrats to our friends at Mediatonic as Fall Guys crosses 7 million units on Steam and is the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game of all time." So think about all of the games that's been on PlayStation Plus since it's been a thing. There's been a lot of first-party games from Sony, some pretty big third parties that they locked up for PlayStation Plus. No, Fall Guys. That's the one that's been the most downloaded. 7 million copies on Steam. Guys, this thing hasn't been out a month, right? Like, it just launched on PlayStation Plus earlier this month and then on Steam. Sure, it's not a full price game on Steam. What's it, like $20? And then like 30% goes to Valve. But like, for an indie developer and Devolver Digital, that's really, really good. And here's the crazy thing. This game is only on PC and PlayStation 4, and we kind of assume it's going to do things like go to the Switch, could go to the Xbox, seems to be going to cell phones already. Put it on phones, and it's a wrap. This game is going to get out of control. I'm sure they were hoping to sell 1 million, right? That's usually what indie developers like. Hopefully we can hit 1 million. We're talking tens of millions now. Also, if there are any Left 4 Dead fans still out there, still playing the game, and maybe you kind of stepped away for a bit, you might want to go back and install Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam. This was interesting. A trailer popped up, you can see here, and it's titled Left 4 Dead 2 The Last Stand Update. This appears to be an update being done by modders and fans of Left 4 Dead 2 that Valve is going to get involved with and I guess push as like an official campaign update. It sounds like there's going to be a significant amount of content added. And to see this for Left 4 Dead 2, one, is pretty awesome, right? It's really cool to see a game that's a bit older, right? At this point, it's pretty old to think about that. That was on a 360, and wow, you start looking back at how old some of those 360 games are, and it starts making you feel old, right? But to see Left 4 Dead 2 get a big update like this is really cool. We're still waiting to see what exactly is involved here in terms of content, but it does appear to be coming this year. So there we go, a Left 4 Dead 2 update coming in 2020. Might want to go back on Steam and get it installed. Oh, and we did have Final Fantasy Chronicles Remastered released today, and I was curious how this would go over with reviewers and what kind of scores it would get. Turns out you may want to download that demo first. I guess that's the one piece of good news here is there is a demo you can download and try for yourself. But as reviews started to pop up, it appears that this is probably going to be a high 40s, low 50s on Metacritic. I mean, check out IGN's review here with a 3 out of 10, and they cite a couple of reasons: a dated design, clunky multiplayer systems, and unacceptable load times. And from what I'm hearing, the online multiplayer is strangely bad. Like, there are some weird oddities going on with this thing. I mean, we heard that they region locked the multiplayer. That was weird. We heard there was no couch co-op. That was weird. It turns out just like matchmaking and having a party set up between dungeons is also strange to do. I don't really understand what happened here, because initially when they were doing this, it sounded like they wanted more time, and that's why they delayed it, and it seems like it's still having a lot of issues. Maybe they got a bit too ambitious with like crossplay, working between phones and Switch and PlayStation and all this stuff. I don't know. I'm going to check it out, though, today. I already picked it up. I wanted to check it out a bit for the podcast this weekend, and I'm sure we'll talk about it there. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with that Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase. Again, everyone was super excited to see this, obviously online. If you look at the like to dislike ratio on the video, okay. Now, it turns out people were not looking forward to something like this, right? And they're expressing their frustrations in the comments, the like to dislike, all of this stuff. I don't know if Nintendo eventually turns the comments off. I don't know, but let's go over this Direct Mini Showcase. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why you can probably relax slightly, because I don't think Nintendo's holiday has been completely outlined just yet. So here we go. We'll go down the list here. Nintendo did put out just an overall summary of the event on their What's New section on their website, along with, of course, the full Direct that is located on their YouTube channel. But we do have Just Dance 2021, which, by the way, the biggest travesty here is that Just Dance 2021 will not be released on the original Nintendo Wii. What is going on here, Ubisoft? I don't get it. Massive mistake, obviously. World of Tank Blitz managed to find its way in there. Good to see that Nintendo managed to get a YouTube ad in there. Good stuff. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. This was big for the Kingdom Hearts community because they were waiting to see when this would release. This is kind of the musical rhythm-based game through Kingdom Hearts. It's coming out November 13th, so that's good to see there. I'm not a big rhythm game fan, so I would probably stick with the regular Kingdom Hearts games, which I can't believe they're not on the Switch yet. This would have been a good spot to just drop them as well. Why not? Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. This one surprised me a bit. It's cool to see Puyo Puyo Tetris get a sequel. That's coming out December 8th. Then we had Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack. This apparently, I think, are two games that are RPGs that were on the 3DS in Japan, and they're moving them over as like a double pack. It's kind of interesting to see that. Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions. Okay. I kind of looked at this and thought it was like Ready to Rumble sort of, but with like kind of a crossover with Rocky, I guess. It looks like an arcadey boxing game that looks semi-low budget, almost mobile game-like. But again, pricing, we have to see. It's not coming out till 2021. Maybe it could be a lot of fun for the right price. Then we had kind of a sizzle reel with like Jump Force Deluxe Edition, which, hey, nominated for Fighting Game of the Year in 2019. So it might be worth checking out that one. And then, of course, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, that's out today. But the biggest thing that I really liked was the Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. This has the 3 Final Fantasy Legend games from the Game Boy being brought over in a triple pack for the Switch at $20, actually. December 15th, that's one to check out. I hope they do a physical copy, although the physical copy will have to probably be more expensive. Maybe they'll move it up to like 40 and they'll add a bunch of cool stuff in. It'd be neat if they had the game itself and then like a slipcover that looked similar to like a Game Boy case from back in the day with like the cardboard. That would be the way to go if Square decides to do that. Then we of course had Captain Tsubasa, that's out on the 28th, so that'll be tomorrow. Minecraft Dungeons DLC and Fuser. All right, so looking back at this, not really any big heavy hitters, right? Nothing that was there that like blew people away. That might be the biggest thing. Like if they do these partner showcases, I really wish they had something big time that like people would go, okay, not everything there was for me, but they had this really big announcement, right? And like the biggest one here is I guess the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game and the Final Fantasy Legends collection. Like I get why people aren't too excited about this one, but looking at what Nintendo has now, I think the one thing that they have lined up is Pikmin 3 Deluxe, right, for the holiday. And that seems to be the big frustration. We don't really know what Nintendo's doing this holiday, if anything at all. Here's the thing, though. They have some more stuff to announce. And that's the thing that's really confusing to a lot of people right now. We've seen, of course, rumors fly around about Directs. We see the 3D Mario Collection rumors all over the place. And here's what I'll tell you. Their investors management thing, whatever it is coming up midway through September. They will make announcements for then. It's either going to be next week or the following week. There you go. So something should be happening in the next 2 weeks. All right, is what we'll go with. Okay, let's stick there. So while this was not a great overall Direct, it was a Direct Mini Partner Showcase, and it was better than the last one. Although it didn't have WWE 2K Battlegrounds, so we'll slap a 3 out of 10 on it. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and pre-orders. That's been the biggest concern right now for a lot of people. We assume, like anytime a console comes out, that it's gonna sell out and that resellers are gonna get a hold of them, double, even triple the price, especially if it's around a holiday time. It was a bit different for the Switch. Yes, it still happened, but if you couple the idea of a console coming out, selling out, and the holiday and the pressure to get that big, gift, yeah, you end up with some crazy prices from resellers on eBay and Amazon and stuff. So naturally, we all want to know when pre-orders are going to go live so we can get a hold of the system, because we actually want to play it. We don't want to try to make money off of the system, right? Well, Sony decided to open up a pre-order site where you can register to be notified of when you can pre-order. Yes, take a look here. You can even see they say there will be a limited quantity of PS5 consoles available for pre-order, so we will be inviting some of our existing customers to be one of the first to pre-order one from PlayStation. That's right. We are currently registering to then pre-order a PlayStation 5. That's where we are now. I almost feel like Sony is like, what are we, like 2 months out? Let's see what we can get away with. Let's see if we can make them register to pre-order a PS5. And then they launch the site and then there's like laughing right now. I don't know. This is so strange to me because we are, yes, 2 months out, I think right now, like 2 months and a week from the PS5 launching. And we don't know the pricing. We don't know technically the release date now. Now, Best Buy, Amazon, all these Walmart, GameStop, they're going to do their own pre-orders. These appear to just be from Sony. So they sent out emails to people just to alert them that this was happening, and they launched a site. Down in the sources, I will go ahead and drop the site link so you can go over there, put it looks like they ask for like your PlayStation name or your PlayStation handle. I guess drop that in there. Make sure you are at least registered and on this list, because when those pre-orders go out, I expect websites to crash. I expect mayhem online, because it is going to be wild stuff. Now, I will attempt to pre-order it as many places as I can, because we're going to do teardowns of it. We're going to check things out. I'm very interested in this console because of how it looks, so I want to know how it's put together. And of course, I want to see some of these games and see them running and all of that as well. So keep your eyes out for this. I'm going to also keep you guys informed and update on the PS5 pre-order situation, and see what other things we have to do just to be able to get a chance to put our name in for this thing. Next up, let's talk about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It is apparently a sequel, direct sequel, to the original Call of Duty Black Ops, which is pretty cool. It's going to be out on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Series X, the PlayStation 5, and on PC through battle.net. And this, so far, looks pretty good. Honestly, the visuals they showed, they even said, hey, it's all being rendered and shown on a PlayStation 5 system, which, I mean, Sony has the marketing for it, so that makes sense. The Verge went a bit further, and I'm trying to figure out where this information is exactly coming from. I guess Activision is saying that it will have higher frame rates, but The Verge is saying 4K, 120 hertz with ray tracing. I think the confusion is coming in where we separate those right now, okay? So I think you can do 4K, probably like 60 frames, or there'll be like dynamic scaling for resolution, and you can hit 120 frames. We've already heard that some games are going to do that with things like Dirt 5, so while Call of Duty will be a game, I think, that will try to hit that high frame rate, I don't think they're going to do it at 4K ray tracing 120, because I don't even think the big video cards, the beefy, crazy 3090 is going to be able to do something like that. We'll see, though, when the benchmarks come out. But, like, for something that we expect to be $500, I don't necessarily think that will be the case. But where a lot of interest seems to be coming in is the upgrade path. All right, so like some games, for example, they're like, oh, you just buy it, there's smart delivery, you drop the disc in, we'll update it for you, and you're good to go. Like Cyberpunk, it's easy, right? You buy the game once, you just play it. Well, it looks like Activision is going to be testing that $70 price tag. All right, so let's just go over as quick as we can this whole situation with the upgrade path and which version you would buy. They should have gone the EA route. They should have given us like a flow chart, a PowerPoint presentation like EA did with Anthem, but here we go. So obviously, there are going to be different versions for different systems, and the question becomes, what do you have to do to go from PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Xbox Series X? You can buy it for your PS4 or your Xbox One, and then you can pay the difference and move up a system. So basically it comes out to being $70. It seems pretty straightforward. You buy it on the PS4, you then take that disc, you pop it in your PS5, you pay apparently a fee of $10, and then you get all of the cool features that the PS5 will have. Otherwise, if you pop that disc in, it'll just act like the PS4 version on your PS5. Now, if we go back to that Xbox One version, if you pop that into the Series X, it will not work that same way. You'll have to actually get the digital version that is the next-gen upgrade path, which you can buy at $70. So on the Xbox One, if you want to go from the Xbox One to the Series X, you just want to buy the digital next-gen upgrade version. That's what you want to do unless you want to buy the game twice. Let's say you buy it on the PlayStation 5 and you buy it on the Series X, right? And you're playing it there and you're like, oh, I want to go play this on my PS4 or my Xbox One. I have the disc, right? Kind of. If you have it on the Xbox Series X, you can take that disc and you can go pop it in your Xbox One. It will play there just like it would on a normal Xbox One, but it will not work the same way on the PS4. If you take your PS5 disc, pop it in the PS4, it will not work. Everyone is clear on this, right? My best advice here, to be honest, just go digital for this one. Straight up. Just if you know you're going to go from the PS4 to the PS5, just grab it there. Or, I mean, it's coming out November 13th. Most likely we will know that the system is either out or coming out that day for the PS5 or the Series X, and just buy your next gen version and move on. This is a mess from Activision. I don't know why it's so confusing all the way around. I thought smart delivery was supposed to make this easier. I thought cross-buy on the PS4, PS5 would have made this easier. And it's just not. You know what? I guess years from now we won't have to deal with this, but like right now, going between generations, it really is a mess for some of these companies to deal with. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about another upgrade for the PlayStation 5 from the PlayStation 4. It doesn't really center around graphics or the speed of the system when you're navigating around the home menu, nothing like that. Let's talk about connectivity in your house, specifically around Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, because one of the biggest things that I hear about is how poor your PlayStation 4 Wi-Fi is when it comes to download speeds, for example. Well, it looks like, according to a new filing, the PlayStation 5 will be using Bluetooth 5.1, which is good because that just means it'll be faster, more energy efficient, and have the ability to sync up multiple audio devices, I believe up to 2. So I guess you could have multiple speakers, or you could have 2 headphones hooked up. This was spotted over on the PlayStation 5 subreddit, and you can see they also pointed out Wi-Fi 6, which would be 802.11ax. That would be over the 802.11ac that would be in the PlayStation 4 Slim or PlayStation 4 Pro, which will help with things like latency and, yes, even bandwidth and all of that. But latency would be the big one, especially for the fighting game community, because it turns out, based on different surveys that have been coming out kind of recently, a lot of people do play fighting games over Wi-Fi, even though that's like a big no-no in the community. At least something like this with Wi-Fi 6 would help to make that at least a bit better. I just like to hear that the Wi-Fi in the PlayStation 5 could actually be usable to a degree. I mean, it's not like impossible to use on the PS4, right? But it's certainly not great, at least in my experience. It never has been. So at least hearing about the PlayStation 5 focusing on those areas as well with upgraded Bluetooth and better Wi-Fi is a major plus. And we'll finish up with a comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one's from Morrow saying, speaking of Sega, remember when 2020 was supposed to be the year of Sonic, with a new Sonic announcement happening once every month? That was a fun little lie, wasn't it? I think they wanted to do that, but obviously they had some serious issues with things like COVID, remote work, and all this. I mean, we've seen it affect basically every company just about in the gaming world right now, specifically with developers and publishers. They've made it pretty obvious at this point that there are some struggles in the background right now. And the one thing that I will give Sega credit for, it sounds like they are spending some extra time on whatever the next Sonic game is, the next 3D Sonic game that is, because even they themselves have looked back on it and said, Sonic Forces wasn't great, and some of the previous 3D Sonics also were not great. Maybe we should spend a bit more time on it, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, you're right, the year of Sonic was short-lived. I think, what did we get? Mobile phone backgrounds or something at one point, and then it just disappeared. But again, like things like Xbox 2020 also had to stop, and that's from a company that's launching a system this year with Microsoft. We're just trying to get Sega to do anything that's obvious, like put Dreamcast games on the Switch or move Persona 4 Gold and to other systems outside of the Vita. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. Whether it is that Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, what were your thoughts on it? Are you concerned about Nintendo's holiday coming up now? Are you a bit disappointed even? I'm curious to hear your thoughts about all of that there, and I guess some of the backlash going on right now with Nintendo and this partner showcase not being a general direct or just shedding more light on what's to come here. Also, what do you think about Activision and their cross-gen support for Call of Duty? Do you think it's just too confusing and they should put out one of those really cool PowerPoint slides that EA had to do for Anthem? Oh, and what do you think about this PS5 pre-order situation? Are you seeing there's waiting and waiting? You're just ready to go, but Sony just won't tell us the price and they won't tell us when we can pre-order these things. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.